And welcome back. This is Insight on Business. My name is Michael Libby, and this news hour is being brought to you by FWRSA. FWRSA, tax and accounting specialists that'll work hard for you until the cows come home. All of this is powered by our advertising agency, Insight Advertising, Marketing, and Communications. That's where we get all this stuff from. And that's where we meet fine people like Josh Dreyer. Josh, welcome to the program. So glad to have you here from Willis Auto Center is that Clive?
That is technically Clive, yes.
Very nice.
Thank you.
And Josh is here. If you recall, just a little bit ago, we were talking about the 10 brands that we said, or that 24/7 Wall Street and Bloomberg News have suggested will not be around in 2014. And one of those brands happened to be Volvo. And guess what? Josh and his friends over at Willis happened to sell Volvo. So that caught his eye, and he caught ours, and we said, hey, Josh, let's talk about this.
Yeah,
tell us here's the setup. They say that the market share isn't large enough, that there aren't enough buyers in the marketplace for the Volvo nameplate to survive until 2014. And they're talking about that there is not enough length of models. Okay, but you wrote some things about that on the other side. Tell us what you think.
Well, I guess I would start off by saying, first of all, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it. I would say that since, I guess in the last half decade, the automotive industry as a whole has been kind of struggling,
sure,
along with everybody else, struggling to kind of figure out how to make it in the economy that we had at the time in the recession. And I guess I would say that...
but car sales have been bouncing back over the past.
They have. And there are some manufacturers that have, I would almost say, gotten lucky, as Lexus, for example, which is a fantastic brand that we carry. They have been able to position themselves as the reliability leader and therefore a luxury leader. And plus they have the model line to back it up. With Volvo, one of their, I guess, issues that they had back in 2008 when everything went south, Ford kind of, I don't want to say gave up because they didn't really give up, but Ford had a group, I believe it was called the Prestige Automotive Group, I believe they called it. It was comprised of Volvo, Land Rover, Aston Martin, and Jaguar. And those four brands kind of were their Ford's luxury arm, I guess.
It was interesting what also Ford did is they rebranded Lincoln to the Lincoln Motor Company.
Yes. Ford's desperately trying to save Lincoln, and time will tell to see if that actually works out or not. But and then in 2010, after the big problems in 2008, Ford decided they're going to sell off all of these prestige brands that they had and kind of split them all up. So they sold them at quite a large loss. Sold Volvo to a company called Geely out of China. It's a Chinese holding company. And then kind of left them holding the bag and said, well, we gave you the XC60 and a couple other models. Good luck. And that's kind of where Volvo has been for the last couple of years. But a couple of things have gone very well for Volvo.
What are those?
The reliability studies that come out, they have not receded as far as the quality. The industry has been moving forward, which is a fantastic thing as far as what we call PP100 or problems per 100 vehicles. Volvo has been a solid in the low hundreds, which is pretty much in the middle, right there, close to the industry average, but definitely higher than companies like Mitsubishi that they mentioned before. So the reliability is there, the quality is there, the model line is improving vastly.
How so? How is it improving? Because that's one of the knocks.
Yeah,
is that there aren't enough models out there for Volvo to appeal to a wider demographic.
Sure, and that's kind of the thing. There's companies out there. Every car company is competing for the most customers they can possibly have.
Sure.
BMW is demonstrating this currently, where they've got everything from now the 1 Series. I mean, I think they're trying to get every number. They're trying to copyright and trademark every single number. We'll see if the 9 Series comes out later. Volvo has a very concentrated mid-luxury brand at the moment that they have the opportunity. In 2014, they've got several new models coming. Not new models, I shouldn't say them new models, but redesigns of current models. The S80, for example, which is starting to get a little long in the tooth, that will be a complete redesign. Technology will be upgraded. The XC60 and S60, which have been fantastic sales cars for us, those will be redesigned or refreshed in 2014. And then hopefully the XC90, which has been kind of Volvo's, I guess that was Ford's gift to Volvo, was the XC90. And that car has not been updated greatly since it came out in, was it 2003, I believe it came out, or it was introduced. That will be coming hopefully in 2015, I would say.
Where is Volvo made? Where are the vehicles made?
Sweden.
And they're still made in Sweden.
Correct.
The Chinese holding company.
Correct.
And one of the news reports that we talked about just recently was that apparently some of the sales figures in China were inflated. And that impacts worldwide sales, and apparently some of the dealers decided they would keep those rebate money. With the holding company being in China, has that impacted the brand at all with consumers?
I don't think so. No, definitely, especially in the United States, I don't think that it definitely doesn't have a financial impact or any sort of future impact for our consumers. I think that without knowing China's business atmosphere, the United States has strong regulatory programs that prevent that kind of thing from happening. For example, if we have, as a dealer, Willis Volvo, if we have a program like that, there are several hoops that we need to jump through and to make sure that we are actually passing those rebates and incentives on to consumers.
Tell us, if you had to give us a description of a typical, if there is such a thing, Volvo owner or shopper or consumer, what would that be? What kind of demographics surround Volvo?
I think it would be twofold. The S80, the S60 to a point, some of the wagons, they're very, I would almost say empty nester, baby boomer type cars, where someone who's concerned about safety, quality, and luxury. They want something quiet, they want something reliable, and they want the technology that goes with it. But Volvo also has a very unique brand. They're a Swedish company. They've always had a very unique styling to them. I personally, I drive a 1993 Volvo 940 Turbo. Yes, it's got about 250,000 miles on it, and it still runs and looks brand new.
And that's one of the things about the nameplate that's always stuck with people. It's a rugged vehicle. There seems to be a rugged vehicle. What do you think? Now, we kind of laid out those demographics about who's a typical owner. How do they market? How does Volvo market? How are they attempting to increase their market share?
Well, right now, one of the benefits that Volvo has, and I mentioned the empty nester baby boomer, and I didn't quite get into the young family, which would be your XC60, XC90, S60.
I don't know how you keep it all straight.
Yeah, it would, especially with Willis when we have 7 different manufacturers we work with too. From a standpoint of increasing market share, a lot of luxury manufacturers right now, to highlight a few, Cadillac, Lexus, Infiniti, are concentrating on conquering that first-time buyer. As a first-time buyer, if I'm in my 20s, 30s, maybe 40s, it's my first time buying a new car, I'm looking at leasing, I'm looking at low finance rates, and I'm also looking at a market that is flooded with
Absolutely.
those $30,000 to $40,000 cars. I can choose anything. But if I want to be unique and I want to be a person that can go out and say, well, I don't drive the same thing that everybody else drives, then I look to some of those luxury manufacturers. And if I also want to say I'm successful, I look at those luxury manufacturers. So what Volvo has done, and that they hadn't had before, which is unfortunate but fantastic for us now, is they have created their own finance company. And
That helps.
Yes, it's what in the industry we call it a captive finance company. So basically what that means for Volvo is they're now able to offer a different level of incentives to support lease programs, to support certified pre-owned programs, to support new car finance programs that they didn't have prior to their captive finance company. So when you look at that, you look at then leasing programs to get first time in the market.
Buyers,
a lot of people are payment driven. If I can say, I will give you a luxury car that looks fantastic, that drives very well, that arguably has the most comfortable seat, I would say, in the entire market, I would look at Volvo as being one of those that kind of fits in that market. They're trying to, they're going after that same kind of first-time buyer with the S60 and with the XC60.
And making those
strong
payments
lease
affordable.
programs.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
Josh Dreyer, we're talking about Volvo. He believes that the Volvo brand will be around in 2014. As a matter of fact, you're driving one that's a lot older than 2014,
Correct.
obviously.
Yes.
And you wrote about it on your blog, about the fact that you believe it's going to be around for some time. I hope you're right. It is a nice nameplate. It's a great nameplate. It's got a lot of history behind it. At a 0.3% market share, that's kind of tough to overcome. But depending on how it's positioned and how it works its financing and how it markets itself, who knows?
When you look at the model lineup, I mean, we have, I think, a total of 5, maybe 6 models that Volvo offers currently. When you look at the market share of the 0.3%, and you compare it to, let's say, a company that 24/7 Bloomberg talked about, Mitsubishi, who's got the same level of market share, same global sales numbers through April. Mitsubishi has a much tougher time. That's not to say they won't be around. I don't want to talk badly about them, but if you're a company that's offering all of your cars for less than $25,000, you need to be able to market to and sell to the largest population of car buyers.
And that is a problem.
So if you look at those and you look at our number of models and their number of models, I think that Volvo has a very strong chance.
There you go. Kids, how about that? Josh Dreyer in to talk about the Volvo nameplate from his standpoint, saying that, hey, we think it's going to be around for a while, so get on out to Willis and buy one. You help them out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, what do you do out there?
I'm the director of marketing.
Yes.
Yeah, so I do all the emails that come in every month, and I do all work events and do things like that. We just came off actually a fantastic weekend, and as long as I'm here, I might as well thank the Principal Charity Classic for a great weekend out at Wakanda Club. The Des Moines Arts Center's Big Hairball, which was by far the best event that it's ever been, and of course Wine Fest that starts this week. That kicked off on Saturday.
I'm always intrigued by the fact that people, when they say there's not much to do, they must be living in another planet.
They're not looking. If you want to sit home and watch Martha Stewart, then you can.
I guess so, as long as she's around with her magazine. Anyway. Right. Josh Dreyer, ladies and gentlemen, coming in to talk about the Volvo nameplate, why he thinks it's going to be around, why 24/7 Wall Street is wrong, and he's right, and we hope he's correct, because then they'd be down to just 6 nameplates out at Willis.
Right.
That wouldn't be such a good thing.
Not going to happen.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about cab trans. Now, I know, what the heck is cab trans? Well, we ran across this story just a couple of weeks ago. One of our staff members needed a ride to the airport and came up with cab trans. And on that ride, he learned some fantastic information. We're going to share that with you. And about the monopoly situation that exists here in Des Moines and some other cities when it comes to taxi cabs. Hey, it's a business model. That's when we come back. This is Insight on Business, powered by our advertising agency, Insight Advertising, Marketing, and Communication, seen live at 8:45 each and every Monday here at Webcast One Live, and brought to us by FWRSA. FWRSA, tax and accounting professionals that'll work hard for you until the cows come home. We'll be back with more right after this.